Patriots Nation, there's a different kind of buzz around Foxborough today. This isn't just the usual off-season chatter about trimming the roster or shuffling depth. A defensive call is sitting out there that could quietly redefine who this team is. On offense, there's a name that might disappear from the board with a single tag, and that kind of move can split a fan base in a hurry. At the same time, one of the young cornerstones of this roster is all but saying, "Pay me, I'm home." And then you've got a rookie under the brightest spotlight in the building, with Vrabel drawing a hard line through all the noise. Hang with me to the end, because one thread runs through all of it. And be honest, do you trust the plan when it stops feeling comfortable? If you think the biggest accomplishment this year was simply reaching the Super Bowl, slow down for a second. What Vrabel said at his final press conference of the 2025 season was one of those comments that can age two very different ways. It can be the opening line of something special, or the quote everyone points to later. He talked openly about changes coming to the roster and the coaching staff. That part is standard. Every head coach says it. What isn't standard in New England is this. The Patriots effectively ran with two defensive coordinators in the same season. Terrell Williams was brought in as the defensive coordinator, then had to step away for prostate cancer treatment. And thankfully, that story has the ending everyone hoped for. Vrabel said T is healthy and cleared to get back to work. But while Williams was dealing with that, Zach Kuhr stepped forward. He began the year as the inside linebackers coach and ended it calling plays for a defense that didn't just survive, it thrived. 4th in the league in points allowed, 8th in total defense. And when the postseason arrived, they kept delivering. That leads to a question that sounds simple on the surface and gets complicated fast. Does Kuhr stay in that role? Vrabel didn't give a straight answer. He went with the coach classic. A lot to work through. Days, weeks, however long it takes. Patriots fans know what that really means. He's weighing continuity, trust, and the internal pecking order all at the same time. And yeah, this one's going to spark debate, because there are two legitimate viewpoints. On one side is Terrell Williams, a veteran coach, someone Vrabel trusts from their time together in Tennessee, a man who fought something far bigger than football and earned respect across that building. It's easy to want that story to circle back to him. On the other side is Kuhr, who showed every Sunday that he could adjust on the fly, mix up calls, and keep the defense steady when the pressure spiked. Disrupt that rhythm, and you're risking something that's incredibly hard to replace. Defensive continuity in the NFL is rare. When you have it, you don't toss it lightly. There's another wrinkle too, and it only muddies the waters further. Vrabel could also look to Shane Bowen, his former defensive coordinator with the Titans, who became available after the Giants moved on from Brian Daboll. That's where the conversation really sharpens. Do you lean on familiarity, or do you reward the coach who delivered results right here in Foxborough? Whatever Vrabel decides, the locker room will notice. Does performance actually decide roles, or are some chairs already reserved? Sit with that thought for a moment, because the next part of this story is also about the board shifting. This time, it's on offense, and the stakes might be even higher. The season ends, but the NFL calendar doesn't slow down, it accelerates. That's where teams get tested. This Patriots squad went 14-3, made a Super Bowl run, and still isn't a finished product. Everyone in the building knows it. The offensive line needs long-term stability. Drake May needs another legitimate weapon. And the edge group still feels one piece short when games tighten up. The catch is simple. Not every upgrade comes neatly packaged in free agency. New England holds 12 draft picks. That's flexibility. That's youth. That's leverage. But nobody who truly understands this league believes the draft alone guarantees the next step, especially right now. If the goal is to push past where this team landed and take control of 2026, you're talking about immediate impact. That usually means free agency, or whatever version of it survives. Because looming over the entire market is one word: franchise tag. There's talk that several teams could use it on their top players. When that happens, it's not just a name crossing off your list, it's whole strategies getting shredded overnight. One name that keeps popping up is George Pickens with the Cowboys. And before anyone jumps too far ahead, take a breath. Pickens is the kind of receiver who forces defenses to adjust before the snap. Safeties shade his way. Third and long calls change. He creates chunk plays that flip games when an offense feels stuck in neutral. When CD Lamb was out, Pickens didn't just hold things together. He produced like a true number one, clearing 6 catches a game, flirting with 120 yards per outing, and scoring when it mattered. That doesn't go unnoticed, especially in Dallas. A tag is very much in play. If that happens, does it end the dream? Maybe. But it's not that clean. This is where Patriots Nation starts arguing with itself. One side says, why overpay? Stephon Diggs already gives you the short and intermediate game, and that's fair. The other side fires back. Then who scares defenses vertically? Who wins one-on-one and forces corners to stop squatting on routes? That's the uncomfortable part. There isn't a perfect answer on the roster right now. If Pickens gets tagged, New England has to adjust quickly. Either you pivot to a different plan that still raises the ceiling, or you accept that the offense might enter 2026 with the same constraints. And that leads to the toughest question of all. Is this version of the offense good enough to win another Super Bowl? That tension matters. Because while some names may never reach the market, there's someone already in the building making his intentions clear. And he's earned the conversation. Plenty of players chase bigger markets or louder stages. Christian Gonzalez isn't doing that. He's saying he wants to stay. And he's saying it after delivering the best football of his career on the biggest stage there is. Gonzalez heads into 2026 in the final year of his rookie contract. The Patriots could exercise the 5th-year option and push the real decision down the road. On paper, that's safe, conservative. But football decisions aren't made on spreadsheets alone. Timing sends messages. This is one of those moments where you find out whether a team reacts or protects its core. When the playoffs arrived, Gonzalez elevated his game. That fourth-quarter interception to close out the AFC Championship wasn't just a highlight. It was a season-defining play. In the Super Bowl, he spent the night locked onto one of the league's best receivers and finished with 3 pass breakups. 7 pass breakups over 4 playoff games. That's not a fluke. That's a player rising with the moment. Then he said exactly what Patriots fans want to hear. He wants to be here. No drama, no sideshow. He was drafted in New England, and he doesn't want to wear another uniform. That puts the pressure squarely on the front office. Fans know this pattern too. Wait too long, and the price changes. The discussion is already starting. Do you pay him now and lock down the secondary for years? Or do you wait and risk the number climbing after another dominant season? Because if Gonzalez repeats what he did in the playoffs during 2026, the cost jumps. There's no pretending otherwise. The data backs it up. Quarterbacks completed under 40% of their throws when targeting him. He allowed 1 touchdown all season. Week after week, he erased opposing top receivers. That reshapes game plans. It gives the pass rush more time. It tightens the red zone. And when a veteran teammate like Carlton Davis says, in plain terms, that Gonzalez is about to get paid, that isn't empty praise. That's respect from inside the room. Stack that alongside the other decisions facing this team, and the theme becomes obvious. Who are you committing to? Who is this team really built around? That same question runs straight into the final storyline, and it centers on patience under pressure. There's no position in football where mistakes are more visible than left tackle. Everything can be working, and if that spot breaks down, the camera finds it. In New England, that spotlight has been fixed on Will Campbell. Vrabel's response couldn't have been clearer. He's not dodging the criticism, and he's not solving it by moving the player. He's standing behind him. Asked about the noise and the constant suggestions to slide Campbell to guard or elsewhere, Vrabel didn't dance around it. He said if you sign up to play left tackle, you sign up to be judged. Same deal for corners, quarterbacks, even head coaches. Then, he closed the door. Will is the left tackle. He's not moving. That wasn't just a quote. It was a statement, a line in the sand. Here's what often gets overlooked. Campbell wasn't a desperation move. He was a deliberate choice, even with all the pre-draft talk about his arm length. The Patriots heard the criticism. They still believed in the athlete, the mobility, the upside. Early in the season, that belief looked justified. He won the job immediately, started 13 games, and even put together a stretch of 4 straight games without giving up a sack. That doesn't happen by accident. Then the story changed. Campbell tore a ligament in his knee in week 12. He kept playing. He didn't hide from it either. He said he was healthy enough to go, but he wasn't the same. In the playoffs, that showed up. More pressure, more sacks. In the Super Bowl, every snap felt amplified, because that's what that stage does. Now the fan base is split again. Some see a miss in evaluation. Others see a 22-year-old fighting through the hardest job in football while not fully healthy. Vrabel picked his side, and that matters. When a head coach does that publicly, he's telling the locker room that development beats panic. Growth beats outside noise. That doesn't mean ignoring reality. Campbell has work to do. Strength, technique, handling elite rushers. All of it. But moving him now would be admitting defeat too early, and those decisions have a way of lingering. Put all 4 stories together and the picture sharpens. This isn't about one move or one player. It's about identity. Vrabel was balancing hierarchy against continuity on defense. The offense faces the real possibility that a difference maker disappears because of the franchise tag. A cornerstone defender is asking for commitment now, not later. And a young left tackle is being protected so he can grow instead of being discarded when the pressure spikes. That promise from the beginning? This is the payoff. Everything connects. The plan is there, but it takes nerve to follow through. Now it's on you. Which one of these decisions feels like the biggest risk heading into 2026? Drop your thoughts in the comments, tap the like button, and make sure you're subscribed.